Reg, you have a question?
Yeah, Rich, you wrote in an article the other day talking about fragmentation, which I thought was great. You said that the service providers won't be able to solve it at least for the next 5 to maybe 7 years. I think that's really bad for everybody, not just developers, but just the world in general. What do you think, and please be pointed to you as well, what do you think is necessary for the service provider, the operator, the carrier to do in order to expedite that?
Yeah, so I wrote this article about this, what I call the real politique about fragmentation in mobile. And I think there's a lot of positive trends. I mean, Wes talked about HTML5 in browsers. That's a positive trend that will try to reduce a certain degree of complexity in the ecosystem. But if you really are going for a broad consumer global footprint, you're going to have to deal with the reality of that fragmentation. What I'm basically saying is that you have to figure out how to Pareto chart the 3 to 4 that matter most to you, whatever business you're going after, and learn to become expert in those platforms. For example, as I think I mentioned, India is a market that's very heavily Nokia Symbian, and as much as Android or iPhone will try, it's very likely to stay heavy Nokia Symbian for a period of time. The US is obviously very different, where a lot of us carry around Android and iPhone and BlackBerry devices. So I guess the point I was going to make is, the reality is that the operators can't control the handset ecosystem. The operator, AT&T cannot decide by itself what's going to happen. So as a result, the best advice I can try to give a developer is deal with the reality and the real politique that fragmentation is going to exist and become expert in the 3 platforms that matter most to you.
And just to add to that, I would say you have to look at and ask, where is the fragmentation problem happening? So, and to me, it's happening at two very specific areas: the UI, secondarily APIs. You get to locationing APIs are fragmented at best. Everybody is taking a proprietary position there. Seldom is something open, and if it is, it's not fully open in that context. So I think what a developer has to do that's worried about fragmentation, and I think it's a global problem, very much a global problem, they have to go in and demand that solid API set be opened and have a unified API set with fully deprecated APIs when something's not being used and so on. And they have to quit letting manufacturers and operators take over the UI and try to own the eyeball. And if you can look in those 2 areas, you can begin to solve the fragmentation issue and at least make some intelligent decisions about where to go in and invest yourself.
Unfortunately, we're out of time, Reg. Real quick?
It just seems almost like you guys see this as a handset versus operator issue. Is that?
I don't think the operator is involved in this at all. They are through product selection, but I have to agree with my colleague here. It's not, the operator can't solve the fragmentation issue. The developer can and the consumer can through demand, and very specifically by demanding companies not take a proprietary position, so manufacturers not take a proprietary position in API sets, platform providers not take a proprietary position or let others do it, and then don't let people keep creating UIs.
Thanks, Reg. We're out of time. Thank you very much